If I want an adult fantasy RPG, I'll go for Baldur's Gate 3, or the 2 Divinity Original Sins. The new Dragon Age looks like a baby's chew toy compared to what Larian offered, which is why I'm not really that interested, even if it has no DRM and cracked on day 1. Dragon Age Origins still remains one of the greatest RPGs of all time, and Veilguard is not that. While there is plenty of stuff to talk about and make fun of in Veilguard, I am honestly rather tired of seeing a once beloved bloody, edgy, and merciless dark fantasy game turn into a daycare center for adult babies, with its simplistic writing, puzzles, characters, taking push-ups for accidentally misgendering someone as a form of apology. Yeah, I'm good. You know what I've been playing last week? Red Dead Redemption 1 on PC. Finally, I can properly play this game and Shadows of the Dam with a controller that doesn't suck and a platform that doesn't give sub 15 FPS average. While I have little to no interest playing the new Dragon Age, I do have interest in the people that spend way more time defending it on social media rather than playing it. Metaphor is a more woke game. I don't recall non-binary people being a topic of conversation in that game. This CinemaSin style of criticism is really bad. The critique being the squeeze-through animation is overdone. I see nothing about it that screams CinemaSins. Just don't play the game if you're gonna bitch about everything in the game. Wow, how dare people have an opinion? It's not even reviewing at this point, it's just straight up hating. The hate is justified. The game sucks. Reviewers are supposed to give constructive criticisms. Thankfully, I am not a reviewer for this game, so I'll just freely hate this game for being not like the original. Seriously, just play the original. It's an amazing game. The sequels, play at your own risk. Maybe you'll love them, maybe you'll hate them. Dragon Age the Veilguard, it's so riddled with hooplas and stupid controversies that I'd rather talk about anything else than that game. After watching through someone else playing that game because I couldn't be bothered torrenting, let alone buying the game myself, I swear to God, I've had a more fulfilling experience watching Life is Strange Double Exposure, and that's a relentlessly mid game that delivers nothing but utter mediocrity after the masterpiece that is the first game. Yes, I said it. I played it again, I stand by it, and nothing you do will change my mind. Anyway, let's talk about something else. How about console fanboys being dumb? That's always been my go-to comfort zone. The studio that made the spectacular failure that was the hero shooter Concord has shut down, according to PlayStation. Not just that, but their mobile gaming studio Neon Koi also shut down. In an official statement, the CEO Herman Hulse said that Sony need to be strategic in bringing their games to new platforms and recognize when the games fall short of meeting player expectations. Yeah, fall short is an understatement for Concord. This clown is a fake PC gamer. He really wants PlayStation games on Xbox and Nintendo. I don't know what makes my buddy Fritanga a fake PC gamer, but yes, I want PlayStation games on those platforms. I want them on all platforms. That's what happened with Crash Bandicoot. I'm sure it'll happen with other games too. Okay, to be fair, Herman did say mobile gaming and that it remains a priority for the studio's business. But to say that PlayStation doesn't consider putting their games in other platforms is ridiculous. Sony's going to outsource their port developments. It's a nice extra money for them either way. I'm glad that more companies realize the importance of PC gaming. PlayStation is porting their games to PC now. Atlus brought their most notable games on PC, even if it's not perfect. Square Enix was on board that PlayStation exclusive train, but they bounced off and promised everyone that they're gonna have their games on all platforms day one. And one more piece of news to rub in the salt of all the console gamers out there. Capcom sold more copies on the PC compared to all three consoles combined. That's 54% on PC and 40% were on console, which includes all three main consoles. Unlike what the console fanboys believe, I, as a PC gamer, want all games to be on all possible platforms that can play them. I was impressed when you can play something like Resident Evil Village on an iPhone 15 Pro. There will be outliers like the Silent Hill 2 remake that apparently sold more copies on the consoles than on PC, but the profits on PC gaming don't lie. Let's get back to Concord for a bit, because no one asked for this game, no one begged for this game, and yet Sony released it in this state anyway, and the game failed spectacularly. It boggles my mind how this game can have defenders. Seriously, Concord has defenders? This person thinks that Concord, the game that got pulled off stores, is better than Starfield, a game that is still being sold at the stores, despite how middling it is. Lots of incredibly talented people just lost their jobs. Not our fault, bro. Are you gonna blame it on us? A bunch of lame dorks couldn't get over characters with pronouns and iffy, boring designs. Yes, it's still not our fault. I'm sorry that people don't like what you like and decide to save their money on something else instead. This person wants games to be publicly funded. The last game that I know that was publicly funded was Ubisoft's Skull and Bones by the Singaporean government. That's where your tax money goes, people. Here's the funniest part. Actively incentivizing people to play these games by giving real-life rewards from the government. In other words, bribery. They are bribing you into playing this game. My brother said that this is similar to how free-to-play games reward players with daily logins bonus. That wouldn't be far off. We have plenty more Concord defenders. If you celebrate Concord Studios shutting down, you have zero empathy. Yeah, we're horrible people. When will you blame Sony for this? People losing their jobs and the erasure of a game people worked on for 7 years is not worth celebrating. No, it's not worth celebrating, which is what the people at Sony did to these poor developers. They're glad that they can take the garbage out of the way. Being upset that Sony acquired a studio, mismanaged them, and left them out to die instead of attempting to fix their game's issues is the worst take imaginable. Wow, that is totally not something that you just said. You said people that celebrate their fall have zero empathy. I pointed my finger at Sony, but then you pointed your finger at Sony back. Glad we're finally on the same page. Sony is responsible for Concord, not the gamers that chose to play something else that is worth more of their time. Like Shadows of Damn Hill Remastered on PC, it's out and it's so good. To be honest, despite my negative reaction towards Concord, I am more indifferent to the fate of the game than anyone else. I care more about the utterly wrong conclusions that people make out of this insanity. Sony is to blame for screwing things up, not gamers for not buying their game. They have no obligations to buy trash like Concord, even if the game developers are minorities and we have to support minorities. Bad segue. Here's a huge revelation. Some game developers are minorities. These minorities were told that if we want to see ourselves, we have to make our own games. Yes. And now those kids are making games, and you're all crying because they took your advice. Good for you. Is the game any good? The gaming industry is the largest entertainment industry. We're doing fine. Yes, but you are not the industry. You're just one among many that are more successful than you. This person repeats this exact same point over and over again to every single person. Repeating that fact many times does not support your point. One game flop isn't indicative that the entire industry is failing. It is, however, indicative that you are failing. Call of Duty and EA Sports still reign supreme, even though the online discourse about them is 100% negative. How generous of you to compare yourself to those games when you can barely reach a room of people. You people keep saying these games aren't profitable. Yes, your game. Speaking of someone that keeps on repeating themselves like an NPC, video game NPCs are always referred to as AI, or artificial intelligence, and that is an arbitrary segue to our next couple of hooplas that are more related to AI. I have used text AI plenty of times. I've used Copilot, Gemini, Perplexity, but I barely touched ChatGPT. It's the most mainstream option, but I prefer the others if you ask me. This person thinks that using ChatGPT feels like a lot of work at this point. Yes, you're supposed to be doing most of the work, and most of that work is a lot. The AI is not there to do your work. The AI is there to assist you in your work. In the few times where I use text AI, that's what I use them for. I use them to help me. If you are using AI to fully write your stuff without putting any effort in, you're doing it wrong, my friend. Like my brother said to one of his college classmates, you're paying a lot of money for this education. Learn something from it. Imagine being a creative person in the industry and having the tools that you use frequently backstab you in favor of the machine overlords. That's what happened with Adobe, who decided to antagonize anyone that is anti-AI and tell them that you all should get in with the times if you want to be successful. Despite my heavy criticisms towards many of the horrendous usages of AI, my position on it still remains neutral. I personally used AI myself, and I can be utilized at the right time at the right place. The problem is, people use AI like they use duct tape. Just tape everything and expect it to work. Unfortunately, a lot of clients are boomers, and they're gonna take whatever AI-generated images that people make, even if it looks horrendous. There will still be demands for real artists that do things by hand. The AI still can't do specific things that only we humans can. But will there be a time where they can do that? As someone who learned AI and machine learning, I don't think so. And finally, here's a funny hoopla involving AI and the constant failure of Google's search engine. Does anyone still use Google's search engine nowadays? I have switched to Bing and I never looked back. I genuinely think that Bing search results are far better than Google right now, and I can show you with this funny screenshot. If you ask Google to name a horror film that starts with M, their AI overview decided to give films like The Blair Witch Project and Sinister. While they are horror films, they do not start with M. Because I'm curious, I decided to try that myself. And what do you know? They fixed it. Or at least partially. The first result is Malignant, which is a great horror movie that starts with M. The second one is 13 Ghosts, which is a horror movie, but it doesn't start with M. But wait, what happens if I type that whole thing on Bing? Bing instantly gave me the summarized results, and all these are horror movies that start with M. Out of all these, my favorite one is Misery. That said, Mirrors has that really cool kill in the bathtub. And that's all for our video today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you made it to the end, here's a beautiful flower. And also huge thanks to all these wonderful sponsors. You are all fantastic. If you want to see your names among these legends, then check out the links below, just $1, and you'll support this channel a lot. Seriously, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out my ABB Show stream channel, link below, go subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.